This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome to Monday, November the 1st, Bladen County Board of Commissioners meeting. Dr. Opium going to the Zoom in, and all the other commissioners are present. At this time, Pastor Rudy Rampall will lead us in prayer, and Mr. Greg Martin will lead us in prayer and lead us. Mr. Rudy. Let's pray.
Heavenly Father, once again, we gather here to make decisions that we want to please you. And Lord God, we know that some of these decisions will be difficult. Some of these decisions may be easy, but whatever the decision is, and no matter the difficulty, again, know that we want to please you in this decision. We ask that you would give every person in this room wisdom, that you would give them insight as we gather to do the work of Bladen County. Hear our prayer, for we ask all these things in the strong name of Christ.
Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Rudy. Entertain the motion to approve the consent item. Mr. Glasser had motion, seconded by Mr. McGill. Any discussion? Three.
Mr. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Gillespie?
Yes.
Mr. Britt?
Yes.
Mr. Cogdell?
Yes.
Dr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Dr. Mungoen?
Yes.
Mr. Bullock?
Yes.
Mr. Hester?
Yes. Anyone sign up to speak, Ms. Marie? No. Matters of interest to commissioners? Anyone have anything at this point? Item 5 is economic development, Mr. Chuck Eustace.
Okay, y'all, I'm here tonight to give you an update on the Delton expansion. Last year, you all allocated $200,000 and entered an agreement with Bladen's Blooming Agro-Industrial to do a forgivable loan for product development on that project. We built the expansion. It was finished in May with all but one set of fire doors, but by code, you cannot move in until those fire doors are in. And due to the supply chain shortage, we were waiting for those doors from May all the way until about 2-3 weeks ago. So the fire doors are finally in. We got a CO, and they are currently preparing to move into that section of the building. Again, when we do a forgivable loan, in order for it to be forgiven, 2 thresholds have to be met. One is that there has to be an economic impact over a 5-year period of at least as much as that forgivable loan is. The loan was only $200,000. This project was entered into a software program called Jobs EQ. It's one of the simpler economic development impact models, but we can do it for free at North Carolina Southeast. So on a project like this, this is one of the better options. So they ran the economic impact analysis. Tony he's going to create 12 jobs immediately in this. A lot of them have already been created. Those 12 jobs indirectly will create 4 more. So the way the software works, you take those 12 jobs and the money that will be spent, and it creates a percentage of a job at a restaurant, a percentage of a job with healthcare support. It projects in the economy how jobs and spending will create other jobs. So indirectly, 4 more jobs for 16 jobs. The impact in sales and output in the community is just over $2.6 million a year. And the impact in compensation, so wages, benefits, that kind of thing, are just over $1 million a year. The project cost was just over $1.1 million, and Tony is installing $450,000 in new machinery and equipment. So the project also will create about $1.2 million in new tax base in the county. As a result, the first threshold is met very easily, that the economic impact is more than $200,000 over a 5-year period. The second threshold that we have to meet is that the money turns into a lease savings of at least $200,000 for the client, because in order for the loan to be forgiven, it has to be an incentive to the client for creating the economic impact. In this case, if you take the investment, actually, Tony spent just over $100,000, actually over $120,000 on HVAC himself. The agreement from the beginning, we knew that the equipment for the HVAC for his gun testing rooms was going to be very expensive. He agreed to pay for that himself, so he did pay for that. But if you took this project and financed it at 4% for 12 years with an 8% annual return on investment, the lease rate would have been about $114,376. Due to the forgivable loan by the county, we were able to finance a lot of this project at 0% from 4-county EMC. The annual savings in the lease from the amount it would have been is $41,022 a year. So the $200,000 plus the interest on that $200,000 for the time we build it, those savings will be realized in year 5 of the lease. So that means it has met both thresholds, the economic impact threshold and the impact of the incentive to the company. So with both thresholds being met, we would now look forward to setting a public hearing so we can decide if the loan will be forgiven or not.
It's a pleasure, board, to consider a public hearing for 6:30 on Monday, November 22nd. Motion by Mr. McGill, second by Mr. Brett. Any discussion?
One question, Mr. Chairman. You mentioned something about a tax revenue base.
Tax base, yes.
What was that amount?
We estimate it's going to be around $1.2 million in new tax base. Mr. Bullock, 2 things happen. The reason that it doesn't add up to tax base, number one, if you build a $1.5 million building, when that building is, an appraisal is assigned to it, an appraised value for tax purposes, it doesn't come out to 1.5. It may come out to 1.2. It may come out to 1.1. So we have to wait and see what it's picked up for by the tax assessor. The second thing is machinery and equipment, $450,000. Even the first year you put it in, it depreciates, and then each year after that, it depreciates. So we're estimating around 1.2, and then the equipment will go down as it depreciates. The building will hold value or potentially, go up over time.
12 jobs, 14?
12 jobs at Delton. Jobs EQ projects that it would generate another 4 jobs around the community.
The question I would like to know, would it be possible, I know he's been out there for a good while, guy running Delton, will you be able to give us what the lease rate of that whole facility is, what it's running? We get that. Isn't all the whole lease facility going to be on a lease agreement with the county?
Oh, yeah, he signed a lease for the whole thing.
So how much is that whole project?
No, I can get that and tell you. We meet, Economic Development Board meets next Tuesday, I guess. So yeah, I can explain to you what it is.
Okay, I just want to know how, because I didn't want to run the guy out. We keep charging leases, different lease agreements. How much money you can charge the guy for the building out there?
It's because it's with the nonprofit. I know these leases sound expensive, but when you go to what it would cost to build a new building in the market right now, finance it yourself, it would be a lot more than we're charging. They're benefiting not only from the forgivable loan from the county, but also because 4-County is such a good partner of ours in financing at 0%. But even with preferred financing right now, Mr. Cogdell, lease rates, just because of construction costs, are still gonna come out in the $5 to $6 a square foot range. That's just, man, it's how much construction costs have gone up. And I mean, that really worries me about developing new products.
The reason I was asking the question, people be asking about forgivable loans and us giving forgivable loans, so we have an explanation of what's happening.
Yeah.
Another question.
Bullock.
These jobs, when are they gonna be posted so people can apply for them, you know?
He's already been hiring some of them in preparation for the expansion to be finished. I know some of them are machinist jobs.
Like gonna be in NC work?
I'll find out. I know they have been using NC Works, and then they weren't getting what they were looking for, so I think they were trying a couple of websites. But I know one thing they're looking for right now is machinists. Part of these 12 jobs will be machinists. They've already hired like the production manager, and I think they've already hired some assemblers, probably a few more assemblers, but I know they need machinists.
You don't have an idea what the salary is?
Not exactly. Probably everything from 11, 12, 13 range right up to the machinist, probably 16, maybe 18 there.
Per hour?
Yeah.
Mr. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Gillespie?
Yes.
Mr. Britt?
Yes.
Mr. Cogdell?
Yes.
Dr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Dr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Mr. Bullock?
Yes.
Mr. Hester?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chuck. Mr. Nathan. Dallas, Emergency Service Director.
Good evening. As you'll see on the agenda, I've come for you tonight to consider declaring a 2008 Suburban that we have an emergency services fleet. EMS was using it to pull their oxygen trailers to Lumberton to get oxygen and things like that. They haven't used it. It's been sitting a lot. Water rescue at the lake, as you well know, we give them, our EMS service gives them $15,000 a year to operate on, and that's all they have to operate on. So they don't have a tax district just like our fire department. So a lot of times, if they need more than one boat for an incident, a lot of the members are pulling it with their personal vehicles. They've got a 98 Suburban now that doesn't stay on the road much. So try to help them out as much as we can. By no means is this a pristine vehicle, but it runs great. There's no issues with it. Got a touch over 200,000 miles on it. We have no use for it anymore. I just thought it would be beneficial for him.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Mr. Bullock, second by Mr. Britt. Any discussion? Ms. Marie.
Mr. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Gillespie?
Yes.
Mr. Britt?
Yes.
Mr. Cogdell?
Yes.
Dr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Dr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Mr. Bullock?
Yes.
Mr. Hester?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Dallas. Dr. Terry Duncan, Director of Consolidated Health.
So I'll try to be as brief as the other two were tonight. You know, we started, or ended our last quarter pretty bleak. We know that the Delta variant did a number on Bladen County, but we're starting off new quarter much better. As of today, November the 1st, we have had 5,491 positive cases in the county with 95 deaths. So we had 3 deaths in the month of October. With 5,347 recovered, currently we have none in the hospital, same as 2 weeks ago. And we have a 4.2% positivity. That's half what we were October 1st. We were at 8.4% October 1st. We currently have 49 active cases as compared to 105 October 1st. So on October the 28th, Bladen County became an orange or a substantial county. As far as the recommendations, they stay the same as recommending masks inside if you're close to folks that you're not used to being around, social distancing. There are currently 2 yellow counties, but those counties have changed since October the 28th. Some have gone yellow, some have gone red. We have consistently stayed orange though since October the 28th. We remain at 49% of our citizens have received a first dose of the vaccine and 46% have received a second dose. We started giving the Moderna boosters on October the 25th. As part of that process, we did a PDCA quality improvement model, as we always do. We adjusted our schedules and the clinic arrangements so that we flip-flopped a little bit. We're giving now more Moderna than we are Pfizer. We're anticipating that the CDC is going to approve the 5 to 11 vaccine for children this week. We will get the 300 doses, as I mentioned last week, and we would be ready to give those as early as Friday, but we have to have the North Carolina DHHS template and standing order before we can do that. As part of our PDCA, we did discover that clients attending the local event in September were inaccurately put into the state system, resulting in about 120 Bladen County residents or people that were attended were not shown as receiving the vaccine. So we notified the North Carolina DHHS because we knew that that could potentially cause problems with employers and travel and so forth. So they're working with their liaisons to work with that vendor to correct client records. CVS, Walmart, Walgreens, Bladen County Hospital continue to help give the vaccines. And it's my understanding that there was a vendor here giving vaccines on Friday evening from 3 to 6, and that they gave 17. I'm not sure who the vendor was or what vaccine they gave. We are continuing to have Monday through Friday testing at the health department, and we have worked with EMS and some county businesses here to get Star Mount for the monoclonal antibodies. I stopped by there today, and they're doing very well. They're increasing by 1 or 2 a day, and they have started doing some testing as well with rapid tests. The OptumServe that is serving outside of the health department is looking to start rapid any day now. They're just waiting for the pod to come so that they could open potentially on the weekend. So we, as part of the COVID response, remember that part of the reason that we have had such poor outcomes or less than desirable outcomes is we weren't a healthy county to begin with. And we have an opportunity to start better this quarter. November the 1st, we start the Healthy Holiday Challenge, and I have for each of you a Q code that you can actually use your cell phone, go and register, or either the link. This is a free program. It's through North Carolina State and the North Carolina Public Health. It's a national and internationally known program. I reported last year we had 87 participants in Bladen County, and that was great from 56 the year before. But we got 30,000 residents in this county and only had 87 participants. We really need for you to talk with your constituents and help us to start helping now so that we're putting our emphasis on health. And it's not just about eating less and moving more. In this program, you learn some community and some mental health. So just know that this is one of the things with COVID that we really need to help.
Yes, sir.
Just got one question, and not pertaining to what you just gave, though, but how does someone dispose of unwanted puppies? Do they just take them down to the center down there?
If you will take them, we will try to get them placed to a nice home. Certainly don't just put them out somewhere.
I think it's 6 of them.
Bring them to the center.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Not documented. I mean, do we have an obligation to contact?
Well, we don't know who they are. We had 11 people that came over about a week and a half period. And when we pulled them up, as part of our performance improvement, we pull everybody up that comes to make sure that we're giving the correct vaccine. And we found that it would show that they were in the system, but that the vaccine was canceled. So that when we entered our own dose, if you were to run the report, it only would show they actually received 1 dose. Well, if you're an employer or you're going on a trip and you need to show that you're fully vaccinated, then you've got to show a report that has both the injections on it. So when they notified the state, they were able to find that there's 120 folks, and they're working to correct the problem with the vendor. And as of Thursday, it hadn't been done yet, but I wanted you as the Board of Health to know that.
Mr. Chairman, now these individuals, they had the card that showed that they took this, did they have the card, the ID card?
3 of them didn't have a card at all.
Dr. Goins?
Yes, Dr. Duncan, about the boosters, does everyone have to make an appointment to come in? These seniors who need a booster?
If you'll call 872-6291, the appointments are made so that you don't have to wait. Remember, we try very hard so that people don't have to wait in the hot or the cold or the rain. And it has been some of all since we've been giving these vaccines December the 22nd. We would take walk-ins, but we're not giving Moderna and Pfizer at the same time. So it is, and appointments are given preference.
So when they call them, you ask them which vaccine they want.
We will schedule them on their appropriate day. And we're able to look, if they can't remember what dose they've got, we're able to look it up at that time.
Thank you.
Dr. Duncan, I have a husband and wife already. The wife is scheduled for Wednesday, and he was trying to get his, but he couldn't get it at the same time, but he's transporting her. If he can't get an appointment, I mean, I don't know what it is. Can you give me the last 4 of that number again?
872-6291.
91. Okay, I'll try to call him and get it done tomorrow. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes. As far as, I know the COVID cases are going down, what about flu? I've had some people asking about flu.
Flu A and B have been here now for about 6 weeks. I mean, it's following the trend. There'll be some official reports coming out of that. And certainly you're encouraged to get your flu vaccine. You could get both at the same time. But some of the folks are continuing to have some reactions after the 3rd dose or the booster dose that they had after the 1st or 2nd. And you can get the flu vaccine at the health department as well.
Thank you, Dr. Duncan. Advisory Board appoints Adult Home Community Advisory Board.
Recommendation, Chairman.
Okay.
Carolyn Robinson.
There's a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Hester. Any discussion? Ms. Marie?
Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Gillespie,
Yes.
Mr. Britt,
Yes.
Mr. Cosdale, Dr. Ellis,
Yes.
Mr. McGill,
Yes.
Dr. Mongolis,
Yes.
Mr. Bullock,
Yes.
Mr. Hester,
Yes.
For November 22nd, Bay Tree Lakes Fire District Committee, we need 2. Item 10 on the agenda is County Manager, Mr. Craig Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to begin by reviewing the calendar with you. Point out this Thursday, the 2nd JCPC meeting will be held at 12 Center. Saturday, the 4th at 5 p.m. the town of East Arcadia. I'm sorry, back up. Just in December, start of November. JCPC will be on the 4th. On Monday, the 8th at 5 p.m. the Health and Human Services Advisory Board will be at the Health Department. On Tuesday, the 9th at 12 noon, the Economic Development Commission meeting will be held at the Airport Terminal Building. On Wednesday, the 10th at 5 p.m. there's a special meeting board here. Also want to remind you that tomorrow evening at 5 p.m. there's a special meeting regarding Tuesday, the 2nd.
Tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir. 5 o'clock tomorrow and 5 o'clock. And the meeting on the 10th is, offices will be closed on Thursday, the 11th, in observance of Veterans Day holiday. On Tuesday, the 16th, the Bladen County Substance Use Disorder Task Force meeting will be held in Bladen Community College Auditorium. On Monday, the 22nd, the board will meet here. I want to remind you that's the 4th Monday as opposed to the 3rd. Offices will be closed on Thursday, the 25th, and Friday, the 26th, in observance of the Thanksgiving holiday. Also on Friday, the 26th at 5 p.m., the Christmas tree lighting kickoff for Southern Christmas also on Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. for the Christmas parade. Now moving over to December, JCPC meets on Thursday the 2nd. Saturday the 4th at 5 p.m. the Town of East Arcadia Christmas tree lighting takes place. On Monday the 6th at 8 a.m. there's a prayer service here. The board meets that evening at 6:30. On Monday the 13th at 5 p.m. government services. Board meets. On Wednesday the 15th at 11 a.m. the strategic plan meeting will take place with the Board of Commissioners and the planning team. That will be held at the Elizabeth Airport Terminal Building. The board meets on Monday the 20th at 6:30. Tuesday the 21st at 6:30. The substance use disorder meeting will take place. Offices will be closed on Thursday the 23rd through Monday the 27th in service of the Christmas holiday. Also, offices will be closed Friday the 31st in service of the New Year's holiday.
Mr. Martin, on the first Friday night in December, the Christmas tree lighting in Blainburg, and the first Saturday in December is the Blainburg Christmas parade.
Okay, thank you.
And with someone, I'll try to do it, but somebody can, if anybody knows when Dublin's lighting their tree, it'd be nice to have it on the calendar.
Moving to item B. The last meeting, we briefly discussed the employee appreciation event that normally takes place. It's normally a luncheon. Last year, as we discussed, it was a board provided 2 hours of paid time off for employees to be used by June 30th of that fiscal year. And that is the recommendation again for this year. We did, as I indicated, poll department managers. I know we've heard back from at least the health department since our last meeting, in addition to the others we heard from. And it appears to be, general agreement that that's a good approach if you all are.
Motion approved. Second.
Mr. Cardell made a motion, second by Mr. Bullock. Any discussion? Ms. Reed?
Mr. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Gillespie?
Yes.
Mr. Britt?
Yes.
Mr. Cogdell?
Yes.
Dr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Dr. Moncohen?
Yes.
Mr. Bullock?
Yes.
Mr. Hester?
Yes.
Thank you. Item C, I wanted to update you. You'll recall at the last meeting, there was a request for ATMC representatives to come to a board meeting. I had a conversation with Mr. Jody Eustace with ATMC, and he was prepared to attend this meeting. Well, he had he met with Dr. Mungoins one day last week just to talk, because East Arcadia is the proposed project area that we're looking at to connect the project in Columbus County with Pender. Well, when he was down there, he noticed a Spectrum truck, and anyway, come to find out, Spectrum has already serves that area. I'm not exactly sure how recently that's taken place, but it was not reflected, or is not reflected on any of the state maps or whatever. So that's why he didn't know it, and I guess it shows the importance of ground truth, situations like that. But anyway, it turns out that a large portion of the service area that they were considering is already served by Spectrum. So I just wanted to share that with you all. That's why he's not at this meeting. I have also been in contact with STAR representatives. They plan to attend our next meeting in 2 seconds. So I just wanted to share that with you.
What does that mean?
That it's already served, that area is already,
So, I mean,
a large portion of the area.
Does Spectrum have any plans for broadband?
Yeah. They provide broadband.
So, I mean, what's the problem then? I mean.
I'm not sure exactly who all.
Mr. Chair, the problem is, Spectrum did not complete the whole, they got a street, they may be part of that street, and you have children who live on that street, and they didn't have access. We found like 4 streets that Spectrum may support one side, but not the other side. They'll do part of the street and won't do the entire street. So that's something that I guess we'll have to do individually. And then evidently Spectrum expanded their service. I wasn't aware of it, within the last year during COVID. So So that's the problem. So we still, some have to be supported by Star, because they're on the opposite side of the street from Star, and those on the other side don't have any service. Then there's a couple of areas where they're closer to Columbus County. They do not have Spectrum. So I guess those individuals have to work with that ATM, with that company to see if they will serve them, because they'll be on the opposite side of the street, but in different counties.
I think a good question would be, or, you know, and I may be wrong, I don't know a ton about it, but is it powerful enough that the general public can get it just on regular, you know, turning off Wi-Fi and just being hooked up, or do they have to be paying customers? In other words, so a lot of times, you know, they'll say, well, we've got service out there, but as you all know, your phone will roam and roam and roam and roam for hours, and even though they can technically claim we've got geographical coverage, there really is no service. I mean, even though,
Well, this
you know,
business might be, connected to a hardline type service. and not-
but would it have to be paying customers only? In other words, would they have to be Spectrum customers to?
But that's the case with it, with any of
where do they
the
work?
right.
Well, but in all fairness, a lot of places, you know, as you guys know, sometimes you can have your Wi-Fi turned off. You're not really a customer, but you still get excellent service. In other words, you know, without having to tap into, you know, your own Spectrum service. Does that make sense or not? I mean, y'all know what I'm talking about. In other words, you pick up a strong signal,
From a neighbor.
yeah, on your, or that kind of thing. Or your phone would pick up, I don't know the correct terminology for it, but, you know, anyway. That I think that'd be a good thing to maybe ask them how powerful it is, you know.
I was thinking, I'm kind of with the other side of the others on that, with the service. Would it be feasible for us to get you, Mr. Martin, to give us an overview with Star, Spectrum, and everybody to show what's covered? So when we see it, we can take a look ourselves and see what's covered, where service is at. Like it might be a house sitting out in the middle of nowhere. Is Star covering that? Is Spectrum covering that? Who's covering those services? Maybe we need to look at the whole spectrum, the whole
Yes,
county.
sir. And that was the intent of the map that was in our digital inclusion plan. The reality, though, is that in this particular situation,
It's not
it's
accurate.
not accurate
It's not
because as Dr. Mungo's stated, apparently that service has been provided just in.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Martin, is Dr. O'Phillips going to say Spectrum on one side and Star on the other side of the road?
Yeah.
That's what she just
There
said.
Yes.
should be a map of
Yes.
Spectrum customers and Star customers.
That's right.
And we're gonna find out more, we're gonna try to talk with Star,
Okay.
as I indicated, and also Spectrum, because as I indicated, this just, information just got our attention last Wednesday afternoon, so.
That's the only thing I was saying. We put both of them together, then we'll at least have an overview of what's there. Then we say, wait a minute, we got to make sure there.
We're talking about for the entire county.
I guess as much as anything, the point I want to stress here is that although ATMC did have plans to do a project, now that's really not economically feasible for them because Spectrum is already in that.
Well, that might be the ones on the Columbus County line, she said.
Yeah, and we'll talk with them further.
Put it on the agenda next meeting. Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Moving to item D. You all are, have been informed that Mr. Chuck Eustace, the Economic Development Commission Director, and Executive Assistant Linda Clark plan to retire in the very near future. Mr. Eustace's last day of work with the county will be November 30th. Ms. Clark's will be December 31st. And as you all know, their work with Bladen County Agri-Industrial has grown in recent years. And it's my understanding that Bladen County has made a decision that they will begin employing both of those individuals on a part-time basis going forward after their retirement. So really, when you look at the dynamics of our economic development situation, it provides an opportunity for the county to hopefully continue providing a seamless service and achieve a considerable amount of savings if the county was to make those positions part-time and generate about $95,000 in savings that then the board can determine how best to appropriate for other economic development purposes. You all know that we have the strategic planning process that's ongoing. 2 of those 6 focus groups deal directly with economic development related matters. And so it may be a good idea for the board to wait and see the results and the direction that comes out of that planning process to determine how best to appropriate those funds going forward, whether it's with staffing or infrastructure investment or whatever it may be.
So when will we need to make this commitment on this agreement? When are you talking about?
Just because of the timing of their decision, sometime in the near future, whether it's at the next meeting or the.
Well, I'm asking, do we have a meeting to dismiss one, then come back and have another meeting to dismiss one?
What we're going to, next meeting is we're going to, the board about whether they want to advertise for 2 part-time positions, one economic director and one a clerk or secretary on what this her title is. And then if Linda and Chuck wants to apply for those jobs, they'll have to be interviewed and applied for.
Okay, so if what I'm asking is, with the savings, will we get into this morning saying their restructuring? Is the board here gonna consider restructuring anything we gonna do?
Well, Mr. Martin says we're gonna wait after the strategic plan and then decide what we're gonna do.
So Mr. Chairman, did he say we had $98,000 coming? 95.
Mr. Martin?
Mr. Chairman, but that's important. I had that in my memo about the re-advertising those positions. The savings of the 95,000 is what I'm really referring to as far as waiting to determine how to appropriate those funds going forward.
That would be.
But as far as the restructuring, the board would need to restructure those positions from full-time positions to part-time positions.
At the next
meeting. As the chairman indicated, we would advertise those positions. And,
you don't have one more meeting in this month, and that had to be done by 30.
No, we're gonna do it next meeting.
Chuck wants to be out of place though even if he was whatever, he would have to be out of, it has to be totally separated from the county for 30 days.
That's right.
What's gonna happen during that duration of time?
So we don't have one more meeting, between that.
Mr. Costello, the thing is staggered, like Mr. Martin tried to say. Chuck is gonna retire in November. Miss Linda's gonna stay there because she's the glue. And then we'll interview and hire before January. And then whoever we hire for part-time will come back and Miss Linda will retire, and then we'll advertise her job after 30 days.
So she'll be the acting director once Chuck leaves out 30 days.
She'll be
and then vice versa, Chuck will be there by himself until we put somebody to fill her slot. That's what we're saying. That's why I'm making sure we're talking about how we're gonna structure this. Yeah. Cool.
Any other questions regarding that? We'll put that on the agenda and we'll vote on it next meeting tomorrow.
And then the last item is item E. At our next meeting on November 22nd, we have a couple of matters that I don't know how extensive the discussion may be or any questions. But one is an update on the Tar Heel School project, and the second is the presentation of the schedule of values related to the evaluation project. And so the board's requested to consider, if you're interested in doing this, scheduling a special meeting for 5:30 for the presentation related to the Tar Heel School project. So the architect plans to be here and that type of thing. If that works with y'all, if not, we can do them both during the regular meeting.
Will someone from the Board of Education be here to talk to us about what they're looking at this on the street?
I know, Jason Atkins is the one.
That's what I'm saying, they're trying to figure out where money's coming from, and we got money that we allocate, and
Well, that's why that's honest, again, that's why I've just heard, various things, and that's why I requested this update for the Board of Commissioners, because of things that we kind of heard informally. I think it's important for us to.
I'm just saying, do we need to include the Board of Ed's rep to be here also?
I'm sure that the school will be here when they do the presentation. To be sure, they ain't gonna send an architect by itself.
No, Dr. Atkinson will be here.
Yeah, that's what he's asking.
Yeah.
The school board will be represented at that meeting.
Right, I'm sure they're here, because
that's all I know is what I read too, so I don't know.
And I don't know about any board member.
Somebody from the school system that can tell us this been going on for the last 10 months. I'm trying to figure out, so somebody can give us explanation what's happened in the last 10 months.
Yes, sir. According to my email response, and I've had a telephone conversation with Dr. Atkinson. He plans to be here. Rusty Burley, who's the operations person, plans to be here. And according to Rusty, I think he wants to invite the architect here as well, so that all of your questions can be addressed. Now, I'm just saying, I don't know how long that may take, and I know those are two very separate types of subjects.
Well, if you could get some more details, it would help us. They're going in there in the dark, I don't have a clue what they want to talk about. If you can just get more information shared between now and then, it'd probably be helpful. But you can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll certainly try.
Okay, I need a motion to schedule a special meeting 5:30, Monday, November 22nd. Mr. Brett, second by Mr. Ellis. Any discussion? Ms. Marie?
Mr. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Gillespie?
Yes.
Mr. Brett?
Yes.
Mr. Cogdale?
Yes.
Dr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. McGill? Dr. Mungoin? Mr. Bullock?
Yes.
Mr. Hester?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Martin.
Thank you.
Individual delegation wish to address the commissioner? Commissioners, matters of interest to commissioners?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Bull?
I got a question to, Mr. Martin. How's the community survey stats? What they look like?
Related to the strategic plan process?
Thank you. We sent out I don't have a copy of it here, where the citizens can go in and do a survey on the community, on the Bladen County.
Yeah, yes, sir. I think that's related to the strategic plan process.
Okay, how's it coming on?
I haven't heard any specific numbers. I know we have also created a Spanish version of that.
Oh, yeah, I saw
We're
that.
trying to increase the outreach. I don't think we've heard any specific. I know we're extending the time. 90, okay.
You received 90? Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Anyone else? Any other commissioner? So this time, this meeting is recessed until 5 p.m. tomorrow. Thank you for coming.
Tomorrow, it is tomorrow?